Parents, welcome to Teaching Kids Reading Comprehension Skills. Understanding how text is structured will help kids organize the information and gain an understanding of what they are reading. The four text structures we will teach are sequencing, categorizing, compare and contrast, and cause and effect. We are going to begin by introducing kids to sequencing examples. They need to know that writers tell events in the order, the sequence that they happened to build understanding for the reader. So we're going to look at events in a story, events in a narrative, and events in an informational text, specifically directions. Begin by reading with kids the events of a story. Before starting, point to the first, second, third, and fourth, and tell kids that that is the order that the events happened. Begin reading with them. The porridge was too hot. The bears went for a walk while the porridge cooled. While the bears were gone, a little girl went in the house. She ate porridge, broke a chair, and fell asleep. When the little girl saw them, she ran out of the house, never to return. Now ask kids the following questions to check for understanding. And it is fine if kids need to go back and reread sections of the story. Number 1, did the story make sense? Accept both answers, yes and no, and continue asking the remaining questions. The questions will help kids understand the order of sequence. Number 2, ask what happened first. In our example, it says the porridge was too hot. Accept any reasonable answer. Number 3, what happened next? The bears went for a walk. Number 4, why did the bears go for a walk? They were waiting for the porridge to cool so they could eat it. Number 5, what happened next? A girl went into the house, ate porridge, broke a chair, and fell asleep. And number 6, why did the girl run out of the house? She was scared because her actions hurt the bears. Now with kids, read the events in a narrative. First, yesterday was my birthday. I woke up and saw my present. It was a kitty, and I named him Tabby. Second, next, Mom took my friend and me to the carnival. We rode the roller coaster and 5 other rides. Third, after the rides, we ate chocolate chip cookies. They are my favorite. And fourth, when we came home, I played with Tabby until bedtime. It was the best day. Now have kids sequence the events of each story. And this is a completed example. Now have kids read the events of an informational text, specifically directions of making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. First, get all of the ingredients, peanut butter, jelly, and bread. Second, spread peanut butter on 1 slice of bread. Third, next, spread jelly on top of the peanut butter. And fourth, then put the second slice of bread on top. Now with kids, read the story, My Trip to the Lake. Now have kids highlight the first event in yellow, the second event in green, the third event in blue, and the fourth or last event in orange. Now have them write the first event in the first column, the second event in the second column, the third event in the third column, and the fourth event or the last event in the fourth column. And this is a blank template to fill out. Now have kids finish each sentence describing what is happening in the picture. Answers may vary. In this example, it reads, first, Mandy bought oranges at the store. Next, she made orange juice with the blender. Then she poured the orange juice into cups. Last, they drank the yummy orange juice. Now introduce kids to categorizing, dividing the topic into two groups. We are going to look at two different topics, fruits and then penguins. Now have kids read the first example, fruits. Fruits are parts of plants that are edible and have seeds. They are a source of vitamins. Fruits such as lemons, cranberries, grapefruits, and limes are sour. Fruits such as grapes, apples, pineapples, and strawberries are sweet. Now have kids find the two sentences that tell the different types of groups. One is sour and one is sweet. Have them highlight the sentence that talks about the sour fruits in yellow and the one that talks about the sweet fruits in green. All fruits are parts of plants that are edible and have seeds. They are a source of vitamins, so that goes in the center. Now have kids list the two different groups, sour, which includes lemons, cranberries, grapefruits, and limes, and then sweet, which includes grapes, apples, pineapples, and strawberries. This is a blank categorizing template that you can fill out with the topic and categories you might want kids to practice. Now with kids, read about penguins. Penguins are birds that don't fly. They are seabirds that eat fish. They range in size. Emperor penguins are the largest. They can be 43 inches tall. Little blues are the smallest. They are 13 inches tall. King penguins are also large, and Galapagos penguins are small. The two different groups that are mentioned in this example are the larger penguins and the smaller penguins. Highlight the information in yellow that talks about the largest penguins and highlight the information in green that talks about the smallest penguins. Have kids fill in the information that is true for all penguins. Under the first group, large, write emperor, 43 inches tall, and under the second group, small, write little blue, 13 inches. Then back to the large category, write king, and then under the small category, write Galapagos. Now have kids name the categories for each topic. The topic of food, then clothing, then habitats, and then sports. And this is a completed example. For the topic of food, we have vegetables and fruit. For the topic of clothing, we have winter and summer. For the topic of habitats, we have land and water. And for the topic of sports, we have soccer and basketball. Now we're going to have kids look at compare and contrast examples. It is determining the similarities and differences of the groups when reading. Our topics are going to be frogs and toads, and then cars and planes. Read the text with kids. Next, have kids highlight in yellow the similarities, how both frogs and toads are alike. They are amphibians. Like frogs, toads have short bodies and wide heads. Then in pink, highlight how they are different. They differ in their skin texture. Frogs have smooth, moist skin, whereas toads have rough, dry skin. Unlike frogs, toads walk. They don't hop. First, have kids fill in the similarities. Then have kids fill in the differences about their skin. And then how they move. Frogs hop and toads walk. Now with kids, read the next example, cars and planes. Highlight the similarities in orange and the differences in pink. Fill in the similarities. Then fill in the first difference, the second difference, and the third difference. This is a blank compare and contrast template to use. Now have kids draw a line from the similarities to their differences. And this is a completed example. Now have kids practice cause and effect examples. It is determining the why, the cause, and the what, the effect, when reading. Our topics are first place and plants. Read the text with kids. Mary liked gardening. She took very good care of her plants. She watered them every day. One summer day she walked out and they were in full bloom. Have kids highlight the cause, the why, in yellow, and the effect, the what, in green. Next, have them fill in the cause, why it did happen. She took very good care of her plants. She watered them every day. And then the effect, what happened. One summer day, she walked out and they were in full bloom. And now with kids, read the second example, first place. Have kids highlight in yellow the cause and highlight in green what happened, the effect. Have kids fill in the cause. To become faster, he practiced. He ran 1 mile every day until the race. And then the effect. When the day of the race came, he entered and won first place. This is a blank template to use. In this activity, have kids draw a line from the cause to the effect. The cause was his dog licked him and his cookies fell on the floor. The effect was his mom cleaned up the cookies that fell on the floor. The cause was she shopped for the groceries on her list. The effect was the groceries were bagged and ready to take home. The cause was she planted and watered the seeds. The effect was the plants were in full bloom. The cause was the tire was filled with air. The effect was then he was able to ride his bike to school. This is the completed example. And we end with bookmarkers of the structures that we studied today: sequencing, categorizing, compare and contrast, and cause and effect. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe. And as always, I will leave the link for for all the teaching templates in the description section.